Hello everyone, my name is Mendy K. Huffnagel for those of you who may not know me. My presentation is going to focus on the research into the prosecutorial turnover in the Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office. There has been a constant issue with assistant state attorneys leaving their positions, which hinders how well the justice system runs and the organization functions. Miami-Dade has to deal with a high number of cases each year, but finds it challenging to keep qualified prosecutors. As a result of this turnover, cases may get disrupted, and the system has to pay increased costs in finances, operation, and society. The plan for my presentation is to highlight the leading factors in this problem, introduce some workable solutions, and recommend a decision based on facts and how it can be put into action. Now, one of the problems, what's the problem? Why is there such a high turnover? Why are assistant state attorneys leaving? Well, that may be because most early career attorneys in the Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office are the ones who experience the most challenges in their work. The majority of those who leave the service exit within the first years because they complain of being exhausted, not paid enough, and not given many chances of promotion. You may ask, being exhausted. Within the state attorney's office, they have A, B, and C attorneys. The A attorneys, they handle mostly all the capital cases where somebody can face life in prison or even the death penalty. The B attorneys, they handle mostly second-degree felonies and first-degree felonies. But the C attorneys, they're the underdogs. They get all the third-degree felony cases, handle all the misdemeanor cases. They do the vast majority of the work. Those attorneys, C attorneys, they take over cases from some B attorney cases and maybe their predecessors who may have been promoted to be attorneys. A lot of these attorneys, A, B, and C, they come to this office on the weekends, Saturdays, Sundays, holidays, to not only catch up on work, but to stay on top of their work so they don't fall behind. That is exhausting. And the cases never stop. It's constant, it's ongoing, and it never stops. And this can cause a lot of them to feel not appreciated and, again, exhausted. According to Davis, the main reason that ASAs gave when leaving the job were worries about their salary, dealing with too much work, and experiencing stress. One ASA used to have 150 cases to manage, and things were worse because there was little help from the administration. While the issue is prevalent across several other jurisdictions, Davis reported a few issues specific to Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office contributing to its relatively higher and above average intensity of turnover. Now, let's be real. The cost of living in Dade County has skyrocketed. With the average assistant state attorney coming into the office with making a base salary of less than $80,000 a year, it's really hard. For instance, the interviewee pointed out that the budget allocation for the offices lag behind the growing cost of living. As the office passed its burden on to entry-level ASAs by compromising their salary and benefits, it poorly reflects on their motivation and sense of belonging, nurturing turnover intention. Similarly, Davis grieved about Miami-Dade's failure to secure funding through grants for retention programs to bridge the financial gaps, unlike other jurisdictions in Florida, making it comparably more valuable to constraints at the base of high turnover rate. Moreover, there was also indication of informal training mechanism raising the barriers to effective learning and growth, thereby causing the ASAs to continuously seek better opportunities to switch their loyalty. Another key issue is the bureaucratic barriers that slow down the response to the status quo even when the solution seems obvious, accessible, beneficial, and workable. So basically, it's almost like you may see a problem, figure out the problem, address the problem, have a solution to the problem, but have to jump through hoops to get approval to fix the problem. A worker reported, I think it's normal for them to feel that we are here for 1 to 2 years. I mean, there's no career leader to keep us motivated and engaged. The combination of these issues at critical intensity appears to specific Miami-Dade State Attorney Office, emphasizing the need for a holistic solution. Much harm comes to the company because of such a high level of turnover. People affected become irritated, hearings are postponed, and those accused of crime often need to wait longer for the case to end. It's no secret or surprise that cases tend to get continued, either because there's a new ASA that was assigned to the case, or an officer may have retired, or the state can't find a victim or witnesses needed to proceed with the case. So there's a lot of factors, not just with the ASA, but there's a lot of factors as well that hinders the ASA from prosecuting some of these cases. The experience of Miami-Dade is typical of what is happening around the country. According to Ricci, it's hard for agencies to perform well while working with limited resources. According to Morales, a large number of prosecutors feel that their public positions are temporary, since there is a little chance of growth and insufficient training. The risk is that new hires in the state attorney's office will always feel overloaded and lose their motivation since no changes are made within the system. Within the Miami-Dade County State Attorney's Office, they do have more senior assistant state attorneys that are affectionately called dinosaurs because they've been there forever and they have no intention of going anywhere, and they primarily prosecute the more, I would say, very public cases where you may see these cases on TV. So they're the one that prosecute those, whereas you have maybe an eager A or even a B attorney who wants a chance, a shot at prosecuting some of these cases, but because of seniority, they're prevented from doing so. So this kind of like, I'm not given a chance to shine, so why should I stick around? While reviewing these issues, I looked at 3 main categories: providing financial rewards, changing the way workflows are handled, and building up the organization. The first way to solve the problem was by increasing money and support given to employees. State employees, well, at least at the Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office, state employees are told that our salaries are determined by the state legislator. So the state attorney is like, look, it's not me, it's the legislator. They're the ones who determine how much money you guys are going to get. These people were offered more than higher starting wages. They also got retention bonuses and help with their student loans. In Lee's view, the retention rate improved thanks to the bonus system in Los Angeles. Choi and Giblin argue that most agencies face political disputes when making changes in their finances and require steady, long-term moves of resources, which is especially difficult for Miami-Dade since it does not have enough supplies. The second strategy focused on reforming how many cases are handled and the work process. Some steps included assigning cases accordingly to an attorney's experience, getting paralegals to help at office work, and using new tools to follow cases. Still, these approaches are not enough unless they are combined with changes in culture and career. The final choice was to strengthen the organization's internal setup for better growth, support, and advancement. For example, companies can develop career paths, run special leadership sessions, and use formal mentoring for their members. In their study, Esmorati explained that receiving psychological and professional help is linked to staying in one's job. They also found that strong special bonds and clear opportunities for advancement significantly improve staff retention, even in public legal institutions operating under resource constraints. Lee noticed positive results from the first trial of peer mentoring in Los Angeles. The third route attracted me the most since it handled the core problems without asking for big new budgets. The problem was studied in depth and assistance was given by practitioners, so the recommended solution is a structured career development and retention incentive program. Organization using this method stresses 3 areas: planned career paths, training programs received from mentors, and bonus given for solid performance and working at the company for some time. Unlike a universal salary raise, this way can be put in place by bit and comes in at planned costs. This way of thinking covers the multiple aspects of the turnover issue. This results in more opportunities for professionals within the institution, better teamwork among colleagues, and meaningful benefits to reduce turnover. Finally, the solutions being proposed are less resource intensive, which is crucial considering the budget constraint faced by the funding committee. It is crucial to start at a smaller level, and then as the outcomes become manifest and reforms gain legitimacy, these plans will have a strong foundation to scaling up. Hence, the recommended solutions retain realistic, recognizing the administrative and bureaucratic barriers faced by the office. The first stage of rolling out this program would contain 3 phases for the SAO. Surveys and interviews with both former and current ASAs should be used to find the significant reasons for leaving the organization and see what employees hope in their careers. Relying on these understandings, a group consisting of HR experts, senior ASAs, and budget planners would develop the framework by determining how to promote people, select mentors, and award financial benefits for reaching set goals. As per Reed, the first step in making new policy should be to gather insight from employees for it to be accepted. Second, the SAO will run a 6-month trial with a select group of attorneys to test the program's effectiveness and gather feedback before expanding it agency-wide. In this step, the agency gets another chance to enhance the metrics and apply any needed improvements. According to Lee, the success in Los Angeles made it so that the program was adopted by the whole agency in just 1 year. Factors for evaluation will be the satisfaction of staff members, the involvement of mentors, and both short and long-term retention metrics such as average tenure and turnover rate. Next, once the initial positive findings are approved, the agency would spread the program within 12 to 18 months. During implementation, changes will be made to the budget, for example, by lowering spending on new hires and training, since current training and recruitment costs are excessive at the moment due to many employees leaving. According to Morales, retaining just 10 to 12 additional prosecutors annually could save enough on training and recruitment costs to fund the proposed retention program. The duty to manage the finances would go to budgeting officers, while HR would arrange mentoring and promotion. Managers would observe employees' career progress, and executives would oversee things like how long people were working for the organization, their opinions on work life, and how cases were carried out. It would be necessary to keep evaluating the situation regularly. Turnover, average staff tenure, and how satisfied workers are with their jobs should be checked and reviewed every quarter. According to Terrell, for reforms to succeed, administrators should regularly monitor them and use staff feedback. For this reason, Ishmati believed that using data in written and numerical formats is essential to guide decisions and secure achievements. All in all, the Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office is currently challenged by a problem that endangers its achievement and standards. Much turnover among ASAs often leads to injustice, waste resources, and damages workers' attitudes. Even though there are several answers, the top one is well-organized program with incentives that respond to employee requirements and budget limitations. The plan is based on experience of many people, in-depth studies, and best practices that all support the value of mentorship, events for personal growth, and assistance from the institution. An investment in people within the prosecutor's office could make the workforce more dependable, practical, and ready to deal with challenges. Thank you.